When it comes to EVE Online, every player wants to know the most effective tactic available. You want to know the meta. The meta controls everything. It determines what will and will not happen. Knowing the meta will alter your views, make you question your reality. It might even make you laugh. And now, you're part of it. You're watching The Meta Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Meta Show for the week of January the 23rd, 2021. I am Brisker Ball. I am your host. I am joined by a very tired, very haggard, very victory-laden Matani, who is sitting next to me right here. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. It's been a lot of very long nights. I think ever since December 30th, when we first kicked these people's asses and got them trapped under M2. I go to bed around a little bit after downtime. I sleep for maybe 5-6 hours tops, and then wake up and do it all over again. It's been an adventure. Just the whole scale of the thing, right? Like just $500,000 worth of EVE shit, mostly Titans, $500,000 worth stuck in just the worst tactical position I have ever seen in the history of EVE Online. And one of the things we got a big show today, guys. We're going to go through a lot of like the EVE news and stuff like that that has been happening over the past week. There's a fair amount of activity all the way around. But last night they tried their first serious attempt at a breakout, and they proceeded to mostly just lie to their members about how much shit they got out. I think they got like 5 or 6 Titans out.
It's amazing
like
how much
supers.
Stuff they claim they got out that never existed.
And like we'll get into that. And they did get some supers out because we were expecting them to do what a real honest to God military force would do, which is when you clear bubbles, then you log your Titans on. But I was fully prepared for a Titan fight last night, and then it turned out that Villy is pretty much the biggest coward in the history of the galaxy, and they went for just the most chicken shit little bitch attempted to break out that I have ever seen. So that was an adventure. And also, who knows? Legacy is having a coalition meeting on, I think tomorrow sometime. We're going to send some things about this. But this has come down the wires. Legacy is having a coalition meeting, which is totally not going to be a breakout attempt, guys. Totally not going to be a breakout attempt.
Totally not going to be.
Totally not going to be preparing for this. So after the meta show, I'll send some pings out. But Pro God Legend is going to get all Legacy together. -1 Alliance, because that's some of the news we're going to be getting into, because Legacy is down on Alliance today. One of their only good fleet commanders, Hanzo Viper and Siberian Squads, who was the bright spot of talent in the Euro time zone for Legacy Coalition, is fed up with Legacy's bullshit and the fact that they're a bunch of lame-ass cowards. I mean, I'm putting words in his mouth. I have no idea why they're leaving. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, though, because, just being in Legacy is an embarrassment. I don't think anybody wants to be in Legacy. They just ended up stuck there for whatever reason because it's a bunch of pickup guilds. But there you go. That's some of the news we're going to be getting into. Siberian Squads is done with Villy's bullshit and is breaking free from the chains of coward warfare. So that's cool. We've got some other news too. Like there's cap moves, there's fights, there's Titans blowing up. It is an epic time to be playing EVE Online. So yeah.
This week was a pretty substantial week. I mean, we had fights almost every night. If you were watching our sister show, Push to Talk, which comes on before Meta Show, you heard Villy on there talking about how every night, what's our plan? We're going to try to take over. We're going to try to break out of M2. It's really funny. I mean, that's kind of what they've decided to start doing. Is they form up every night, and they're trying to get these massive form-ups. At some point, you form up every night, you kill some bubbles, and you fuck off. People are going to be like, well, I don't need to go do that. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, before we get it started, I have a mea culpa, okay? I'm going to get up on my soapbox because I made a mistake last week, all right? At the end of the show, I was giving shout-outs to all of my friends. We were talking about Karma Fleet's 6th birthday, and Merkel Chen was here, and we talked about everything. And I have a crew of guys that I play games with. All right, and I mentioned some of them, Sadis and Mill and Smish and those guys. And I left one out. And I felt so bad about it. after the show, it has been like an entire week of me feeling like a dick because I left out one of our dudes. So I wanted to apologize. I wanted to say, look, I'm very, very sorry that I left you out, okay? So Teodorant, however you pronounce your name, we call you Teo. If you're watching this right now, I'm totally sorry, dude. I should have remembered you. You always, always have a duck bill for me in PUBG, and I should have remembered to mention your name. So that's my bad. So anyway, I'm sorry. We'll keep going, and I will definitely not make that same mistake again with any of my other friends that I play games with. That's an inside joke only 6 people will get, but I made it anyway. So all right. That's it. I'm done. We've got a lot of stuff to go into. You ready?
There's a pigeon. I just saw the pigeon.
We're holding on to that pigeon because you told us to.
Gotta get up there and not let go of that fucking pigeon. Don't be surprised that you got the pigeon. Hold on to the fucking pigeon.
All right, we are totally holding on to that pigeon, and with
we
that,
are
we are
going to
wring
its fucking neck.
Our top story of the week: the not so great escape from M2. All right, so for those of you who were watching last night, I tell you, last night was pretty amazing in terms of the amount of Eve streams that were going all at the same time covering the M2 fight. We had 200 people watching Merkel Chen stream. We had 300 people watching Mine One. We had 700 people watching Imperium News. I was trying to jump between. We had people watching Open Comms. We had every show seemed like they were on, and I was trying to be on all of them at the same time because you guys know how I do it. And it was pretty crazy. But essentially what happened last night was Pappy formed 1,500 people like they normally do. They proceeded to shoot a bunch of bubbles. They were able to extract a handful of capitals and super capitals from the M2 grid, none below the Keep Star where the bulk of the ships that we have trapped in M2 are. They were able to get a handful of Titans, I think 3 Titans that were on the Fortizar grid when we killed the Fortizar. And I think we got Villy got his super out. So op success, guys. You just spent 100 billion S to get Villy's shit out. Congratulations. And I think there were 3 or 4 other supers that got out, and then we killed a couple as well. So now, granted, the numbers are not 100% on either side. Bad guys will tell you, well, we got out at least 24 of these ships.
Oh, don't worry. We're going to run. We are running the fucking numbers. We have a spreadsheet and we are locating them. Our guys are working on it as we speak. At least I asked them on the fireside, and I assume they are because goons love spreadsheets and numbers and confirming this. So, we're going to get an updated count after all these things. But holy shit, that was ridiculous. One of the reasons why they did get a few supers out is that after they cleared the top bubbles, we were waiting for them to do what we thought a normal coalition that had force superiority in the area would do, because they brought like 8 fleets. They had Vince staying up late. Like, it was pretty obvious what was going on. There are always excuses with these Paspy cowards. There are always excuses. They need to have an out, and they have these the joke, instead of having it's a Cassus as Belli, right? Like, they're always going to come in. There's always going to be a citadel because Villy has one strategy. His strategy is always to deploy citadels at us and then expect us to go, oh, you dropped another key. Oh, you put Fortizars on the grid. What we are waiting for is for these motherfuckers to find their balls and log their Titans on. And maybe they'll do it this weekend because Pro God Legend is going to get everybody together after this shit. And so tomorrow there's going to be a big coalition meeting, and all the legacy nerds are going to get together and try to convince themselves that their coalition is not falling apart, even though it obviously is starting to fall apart. Sorry, nerds. And maybe they'll do another go. So we have to always be on our game. They will always claim that it's just about a Fortizar, it's just about whatever, some dumb excuse. But when they have the opportunity, because, like, here's the thing: you clear the bubble field. Once you clear the bubble field, it begins. You clear the bubbles out of one of the areas, you clear the top, you clear the bottom, and then you log your Titans on. And we were holding our fire. We were holding our fire because we were waiting for Paspy to do something other than being just utterly the most pathetic gaggle of cowards in the history of the galaxy.
I don't want to cut you off in mid-flow.
I'm going gray here. This is weird.
There we go. Perfect.
Yeah. My webcam, I'm going to try to move forward.
No, you're good. You're good. Keep going, because I want to hear more about how much cowards these guys are.
So
I think that's fun.
Here's what's happening in M2, right? We have $500,000 worth of their shit trapped. We have, I think, probably, we'll get the numbers, but it's probably now like 325 Titans trapped. There are small groups on the Fortizar. Those are the ones where the enemy usually starts the fights. There's the mid bubbles, and there's top and bottom. So these are the 4 bubble fields. If you are not part of the M2 thing and you're just wondering what the hell we're talking about, fort bubbles, middle bubbles, top, and bottom. Top has, we believe, between 75 and 100 supers trapped. Bottom has like 300, like the big cache of the PASP strategic forces are under the Keepstar and M2. And the way these things work is they start clearing the bubbles, and we rally our forces and we shoot them while they shoot the bubbles. And then when a bubble field is cleared, then that's the moment of the truth. That's the moment of truth. Like the bubbles are cleared. They have to clear the bubbles as a preface to logging their shit on. And then, well, they just logged on 1 super at a time. They just 1 horde super at a time. And we're sitting there with our fucking Titan fleet going like, all right, hold your fire, guys. Hold your fire. We're going to wait. We want to make sure that we're ready to go for when they log on their Titans. And then we realized that they were just going to be gigantic chicken shits about the entire thing. Just the biggest, the entire eyes of the galaxy. They got like 1,500 of their people together to just hold their dicks and do 1 horde super at a time. So eventually we're just like, whatever, fuck it, and started doing skeet shooting. So whatever.
So here's the battle report for you guys. I mean, if you're looking at it we're right now, from last night, they had about half again as many as we had on grid, and we killed twice as much of their stuff, including 2 Nixes and a Rev. We know they got at least 3 of the Titans that were on the Fortizar grid off, which we weren't expecting to hold anyway, because that Fortizar grid was way off. It was 1,400
Who gives a
kilometers away from the
shit?
Keepstar.
Who gives a
Nobody
shit?
cares.
It's stunning to me. Like every time with these guys, it's always the same. It's, ooh, we put a citadel down, ooh, whatever. Like it's the most obvious breakout cover there is, because, hey guys, we turned up for this and we were totally gonna go after this Fortizar. Goons were really gonna form to contest this Fortizar thing because they totally gave a shit about T5ZI and all the other stupid citadel spam that the cowards have done at us. But whatever. If at this point you still believe in Villy and ProGod and these people, you've made your bed, you're lying in it, and you get what you deserve, as far as I'm concerned.
And again, I think from last night, what we saw was more confirmation from what we have been telling you on the Meta Show here for the last 6 months, and that is that Pappy is going to do everything in the absolute most conservative way that they possibly can. And I think, frankly, the one time that they decided to move away from that process, move away from being as conservative as they possibly can, they got stuck in the bubbles. So every time they've had one of these bad experiences, it has only reinforced to them that they need to play it safe and play it slow. And that's what we saw last night. I think, honestly, the idea that they would clear bubbles and have 1 super log in at a time. And of course, Villy gets his stuff out first.
Of course.
It just makes,
and he used horde supers. They were testing the waters. I didn't find out about this until later. So like they get some of the stuff out of the fucking Fortizar stuff, right? Like they get Villy's, I don't know, like the champion's butt plug or whatever he calls his frickin' wyvern.
Champion's
some sort of LARPer shit.
That he lodges in the Tower of Legends.
The Tower of Legends. Jesus Christ, where do they find these people? So anyway, Villy, does his Fortizar coward move, and then it comes time to test the waters. Like I was saying earlier, like instead of logging on their fleet and having a Titan battled because they had 9 fucking fleets ready to go, he horde supers were the ones drip fed into the wood shipper. And I would, it was kind of Star Wars-y in a lot of ways. Like I don't usually make Star Wars nerd analogies, but it made me kind of think of, the first transport is away. Oh, yay, we got the first super carrier through, guys. And they thought that I don't know what they thought that we were doing. I saw some posts from these guys about, we didn't know why you guys just let us clear the bubbles, because we want to kill you. The point is to kill you, is for you to log on.
Both
and
Nixes
we
that
fight.
died were horde. Just saying.
Yeah, and they were sending horde people first into the breach to see whether they could get their transports away, and then eventually we realized that they were just going for maximum chicken shit, maximum coward, which is all we have ever seen from these people in this war. And we're just, fuck it, just gun them down. And we did. In the moment, we're just like, okay, they're going to be cowards. They're going to make excuses. They're not going to log their Titans on. The moment we started killing their supercarriers, they just gave up immediately. They
it is amazing.
Pathetic.
Like, we had been there for 3 solid hours watching them and tussling. And I know it was there. I was in a Zealot fleet. We were protecting one of the
It did some fucking jobs that fight. Dark Shines in that Zealot fleet.
Yeah, we had fun. I mean, we
good shit.
We were punching way above our weight. And I know that poor Sour Nanny was very upset with us when we were over on the Fortizar grid and making him jump away from the main fight, killing Bubbles. Because, killing Bubbles, that's going to win this war. But the reality was they were there for 3 solid hours before they started warping any of the stuff that wasn't the most obvious crap on the Fortizar grid that we weren't even really trying to stop. And then they did it one at a time, and it's funny because they get one out, and they get another one out. And the next one gets to 50% armor before it manages to get out. And then they're feeling it. The hubris, the total hubris in local was going, oh yeah, I thought this was amazing. You guys can't stop anything. You guys are letting us all go through. Next super comes in, dead. Next super comes in, dead. Oh, now they're standing down and leaving. Go figure. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I have never seen, guys, you're in a war. You're going to lose stuff. The minute that you guys back away and run off, every time that you take a fight and it starts turning against you, yeah, you're going to lose. Okay? I mean, Jesus, if you're going to pretend to be a Civil War general, be Grant. Don't be frickin' McClellan. Be the guy that says, I'll throw my guys in the meat grinder. We're going to win. Not the guy that runs away the minute that anybody starts saying nasty stuff.
That's actually a pretty good parallel there with the McClellan thing. Yeah, one of the things that just really summarizes everything about the utter cowardice of the like, and and I want to be fair here. I actually am going to stop to be fair, and I don't need to be fair. I'm in no I'm in no position where I need to be fair. Right? We have $500,000 of the PASPI peoples trapped, and I'm talking mad shit. But let's pause here for a moment. When I am talking mad shit about the cowardice of PASPI, it's not fair to their line members. Right? Because they have to do what their fleet commanders say. They have to do what their leadership says. So when I am shitting on PASPI for being a bunch of pathetic cowards, I want you guys, and this is particularly, like, again, the PanFam side is far more professional, far more competent. The Legacy side is just a shit show. But PanFam fucked up in the first place because they decided that they were going to go involved in a campaign led by Villy. Anyway, so when I'm talking shit here, I'm talking shit about the PASPI leadership, which has gotten the PASPI line members stuck in this death trap that is M2. But nothing is more emblematic of the PASPI attitude towards things. To seeing Villy crawl around to any outlet that will listen to him, that will let him have a microphone in his face, and watching this little chicken shit.
Just letting you know, we're fair. We let him on the other shows, not this one.
Mr. Fourth Place, who should have stayed in fourth place where he belonged. Mr. Fourth Place wanted to be number one, and he overstepped his boundaries, and this is where he is. This motherfucker is running around trying to claim about the cost of the bubbles. Bitch, please. You want to blow up some bubbles? Please blow up some more bubbles and then log your Titans on, you fucking coward. Are you kidding me? Oh, we blew up a couple hundred T2 bubbles. Bitch, are you that poor? Are you so poor that you're going to have to issue some more piggle pennies because you think blowing up bubbles is a win? Do you know how many shares are in our war bonds fund? It's public information. There were 21,000 shares in our war bonds. Do you think we give a shit about bubbles? Are you so pathetic that you can't afford to just throw away a couple hundred bubbles every day? You went to war against us? Against us? And you want to brag about killing Bubbles when you are such a fucking coward that you shat your pants and ran away day after day after day. You piss yourself, you shit yourself, you fuck off and run, and you send one little horde super after another to its death while you go off to your Tower of Legends and jack off to your little champion's jewel. What a joke. I feel bad, especially, whatever, Spin Master or whatever. We have given out a lot of credit where it is due in this war. Horde, NC. PL, Fraternity, the PanFam side, they are professionals. They are our traditional enemies. We were planning on doing this war ourselves. We were going to be attacking PanFam because we were in talks with Villy, and Villy was being a backstabbing little bitch and telling, whatever. Now there's all these lies and excuses, but whatever. We were gonna have a big block war fuckfest with PanFam. We're used to screaming at each other and doing this dance and fighting, and we've been doing it for, in the case of us and NC. For like 15 years now, practically. And it's just the legacy command structure is just such a fucking joke. It is. Oof. When I saw them, I didn't know what to do. I was stunned. We were holding our fire, waiting for the Titans. They had 9 fleets. We didn't form anything more than one subcap fleet until I think we formed the second subcap fleet just as they were coming into M2. And we're like, oh, wow, they have formed their entire coalition. Vince Draken has stayed up late to be able to be here and do this. And like, okay, serious business breakout attempt. And then just, they're just trying to claim every time that they... that it was always about their fucking Fortizars or the Citadel. It's just excuses after excuses. It's all squid ink coward bullshit. It's pathetic. It's genuinely, it is like, again, making very clear here, I'm not shitting on the line members. The line members, you guys are in fleets. You don't have to, you could leave and find a better coalition that isn't run by cowards. If you're in Legacy, you would probably find much better homes in the PanFam side, because at least there's competent alliances there. It's what do you say when the enemy has force superiority and like 9 fleets and they clear the bubbles and they get ready and they just send in one? What were they going to do? Were they going to send, like, because this is what we're talking about. It's like, were they going to sit there? Was Villy's strategy going to be to stay there all night until downtime, logging on one super carrier at a time in this drip feed of shame? That's what they were going to do. And I thought they would have something else to do. I thought they would have another card to play after we were like, okay, fuck it. We're going to fucking start taking these super carriers out. They're not going to lie on their Titans. But then instead of playing their next card, because they had 400 dreadnoughts formed. They had 400 dreadnoughts formed, parked on the on-dock in T5ZI. Where were they? Why didn't they use them? Because they cowarded the fuck. Stunning, pathetic. One of the most, just the scale of the cowardice that we witnessed last night from the leadership of PASPI is on an order of magnitude beyond the level of cowardice that the leadership of PASPI has displayed thus far this entire fucking war. And you wonder why we have $500,000 worth of their shit trapped in M2. It's because of stuff like this, right? It's just wow. And it is not a surprise to me that Siberian squads left Legacy today. It is not a surprise to me that we are seeing Fraternity caps headed back north today, because everybody in this war knows that the Legacy leadership are a bunch of chicken shit cowards who have fucked the entire thing up. Pathetic. That's all I got.
And that's a good segue into the Nullsec Power Hour. But before we start this, I just want to say to my friends in Pandemic Horde, listen to me right now. I know that you guys like to meme on me and stuff, and you may not think that I'm your friend, but I'm not only your friend, I'm also one of your alliance mates, because I have a spy alt in Horde who doesn't. Okay? Listen to me. How much longer are you guys going to die quietly for Villy? How much longer are you going to let them tell you to log your stuff in and jump it in first, and then die for Villy? How much? I mean, honestly, you guys have fought a tough fight. You pushed in it at a fountain. You've been on the line. Every time they form up, you guys double form on test. Even last night, I showed the numbers. You had 500 or 600 people. They had 300. how much longer are you going to let them treat you like the back office help? You guys should be the ones running this war, not them. I think it's time for my friends in Horde to stand up and say, we no longer are going to sit here and die quietly so Villy can get his wyvern out. We're going to be here. We're going to do what we want to do. And hopefully what that is go back up north and make some money and not go out being a meat shield for a bunch of guys that don't appreciate you. Just saying to my fellow Horde members, please think about it. Think about it before the next fight. With that said, we're going into our next fight, which is the Nullsec Power Hour, because we got some other big news that we want to talk about.
There is. I mean, Fraternity is heading north for reasons, at least their English-speaking division, because there's a lot of stuff up there.
Pretty crazy. So let me push the button, and we're going to get back and we're going to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the first news, obviously, Mittens has alluded to it, I'll say it again. Siberian Squad. Siberian Squad was one of the mid-tier alliances in Legacy. They joined, I want to say, middle of last year, or right around the beginning of last year, when Dead Coalition was fail-skating. A number of Dead Co groups went to Init, Darkness went to Init, others went to Goons, Ranger Regiment went to Goons. Siberian Squad chose to go with Legacy. And we did our best. We were nice. We helped them move their stuff down and made sure they could get to Legacy space safely. And that actually caused a little bit of a problem on the diplomatic side for Init. But in the end, they got where they needed to be, and they've been part of Legacy for probably the better part of a year. And I'm going to link this. They did a YouTube event earlier yesterday, or either yesterday or today. I'm not sure what the timing on it was. Now, I will tell you this, that the bulk of it is in Russian, but if you go to like the 25-minute mark, they do an English translation that explains why they're going. And they say all the normal stuff. Thanks, Legacy, for everything you've done, but it's time for a change, and we want to move on and everything like that. But look, guys, the bottom line is, like the third biggest group in Legacy just said, bye, guys, fuck off, we're going away. We don't want to be in the war anymore. That's pretty significant. And these guys were not an insignificant part of. I mean,
Hanzo Viper is like their best Eurotime FC, and also he's not a fucking coward. So it never really kind of made sense. You know, Siberian Squads earlier in this war, you saw repeatedly, like Hanzo would ram fleet after fleet into us in Russian time zone. Right, he was the guy. Legacy leadership, when they wanted to find somebody who was more competent than Sandrin Stone or Shattered Armor to try to run like the Legacy of Ultron fleets, they would ask Hanzo to run their non-test fleets. That is the level of this dude's FCing quality, and he has left Legacy, and his people are moving on to much better things. That was always sort of an awkward fit there, and yeah. So yeah, cracks are definitely forming. It's not just the cracks are forming. Like when you see alliances fully announcing that they are leaving a coalition, that tells you a few things. One of the things it tells you is that has been in the works for a long time, right? You don't just like snap and say, sorry, we're out of a coalition. That's something that takes weeks of work and planning, because especially if you're trying to leave a coalition that's run by people like Villy and Pro God Legend, you need to get your shit secure. You need to get your shit safe. You need to get your line members safe, because you're dealing with a bunch of backstabbing cowards. So who knows what they would do? So that has been something that has probably been coming for a long time. It sucks to suck. Maybe if you guys actually fought like lions, you wouldn't have some of your best fleet commanders and your best Eurotime troops going to find their own path away from the stain of Villy and Piggles.
Exactly. I mean, look, and I don't want to overplay it, but I don't want to underplay it either. I'll tell you. Look, Sib Squad, those guys fight. They have fight. They are a good, coherent group of guys. I fought them for a long time up north when we were fighting in Tribute and elsewhere against Deadco. Fought those guys for a while. I have a ton of respect for Hanzo and his team. They built a pretty solid alliance. They've been together for a long time. But the reality is, Legacy is it's not what it used to be. You got Brave pulling off the front lines because they're getting hit from behind. You got Siberian Squad leaving. Who's left in Legacy? Requiem, that we already disbanded once. I mean, who else is left?
You got Brave, you got Test,
and that's it.
This is the thing about Legacy, is that there were like these little groups like the Watchmen and Requiem Eternal, and there's still a bunch of them. And I was talking to this might be something that everybody else has figured out, right? But like, I stopped playing World of Warcraft a long ass time ago, and we had like pickup groups, but I had not heard of the concept. Again, I'm probably super old man image timeline, like I'm behind the curve here. Something called a pickup guild, right? Where you're just joining a guild in an online game, a pickup clan, a pickup alliance or something, and they're just some fucking guys. Right. Like you're like, hey, I want to go out to Nullsec and I'm going to be in like Requiem Eternal or The Watchmen or whoever the fuck and Tweedledee and Tweedledum and those guys and those other guys. And who are they? And I guess there's these 20 dudes here that somebody has heard of from some alliance. And for the longest time, I didn't really have a framework to describe these alliances in Legacy that have the personality of wet cardboard. Right. And then somebody was like, well, they're just a bunch of fucking pickup guilds. And my mind was blown. Right? Like Brave has a culture. Test has a extremely shitty, toxic, really just awful culture. Test is the toilet bowl of Eve, where if you have been kicked out of every other organization in Eve, they won't have you. You can find a home in Test. That is where the burnouts, the backstabbers, the bad posters, just the fucking toilet bowl, the drainage ditch, the gallbladder of Eve, which is probably an insult to gallbladders because I think gallbladders can be useful and a benefit to the body. They are optional.
I don't want to be for the miniature guys. They're going to have a gallbladder meme ready by the end of the show.
I don't want to be mean to gallbladders here because I think that they actually have a useful function, but there's definitely a lot of bile duct action going on in Test. But beyond that, like Siberian Squads had a culture, like they had a real culture. They were up in Deadco, they're hard fighters. When Siberian Squads is available to join a coalition, everybody fights at the big chair level in the autocrat territory and whatever. Everybody is always trying to get Siberian Squads to join their fucking coalition because Hanzo is a fucking badass and his dudes fight like motherfuckers, right? So they had a personality. They've got some stuff. But now you got Test, you got Brave, you got a bunch of fucking pickup guilds who are eating shit because they followed Villy like a fucking dumbass, like the rest of these people. So there you go.
All right. The second biggest news, and again, Mittens alluded to this as well. And frankly, I mean, granted, we're going to tell you this, and I don't think it's news to anybody, but Fraternity has basically exited the war. They've started doing move ops today for their English-speaking organizations moving up north. We've been watching. They've been in a fight with the Freemen up in the north for a while. And as far as I can tell, the Freemen are stomping their faces in, which is really, I've got to give those guys credit. They're hitting way above their weight class because if there's anybody that is doing well in this war, it has been Fraternity. If you look at the MER, and I don't know if we're going to get to a discussion of the MER this episode, the numbers, I mean, just the only place that you can mine and rat with any kind of safety and make any kind of money in Nullsec right now is in Owasso, and that's the heart of Fraternity territory. So if anybody's making money right now, it's those guys. And I think they'd rather make money than fight the war. I mean, last night was a massive form up. These guys hype pinged it constantly. You had Brother Bob saying, "Oh, we're grinding their faces. We're going to be here till downtime." They had 500 plus guys from Test, or from Pandemic Horde, I should say, 300 plus from Legacy. All of the other guys down there. There were 18 people from Fraternity that logged in last night.
Yeah,
Where's Fraternity?
I think that they've played it relatively well, right? Like in a situation where there's a galactic war, right? You have to pick the winning side, right? Fraternity was in a position where, with Owasso and being able to continue to crab as much as they wanted during this whole process, I had said basically from the start, and I think I've said it on the Meta show before, is that no matter who loses this war, Fraternity wins, right? Because while we're all beating the shit out of each other, Fraternity is out there going like, yeah, guys, we're totally involved in this. Have fun storming the castle. And like they have done things, but Norris is smart. They can read the writing. Those guys, they can read the writing on the wall. Like there in the start of World War B, it became clear that this is going to be a situation where when 3 blocks go to war, at the end of it, there's going to be 2 blocks, right? And so I think everybody realizes that Legacy is losing this thing. I mean, who knows? Maybe Magic and Rainbows and Villy will discover some fucking balls and suddenly become the commander he's trying to convince everybody he is. And, again, like
we'll
if you buy into his bullshit, you can fool some people all the time. whatever. But yeah, I think FRT has played it relatively well. But the problem is, and this is a problem for everybody who is involved in trying to take down the Imperium and failing. The problem is that eventually the rest of the game gets bored and will start attacking your shit, right? And we are seeing this, like the whole Free Peoples of the North thing is eventually everybody is realizing, and this is one of the big consequences of M2, right? For all that the Pass-B cowards are trying to minimize M2, or even some of them are claiming, well, some of them, Billy, we blew up lots of your bubbles, that matters. Holding 300 plus of their Titans trapped in M2 is ringing the dinner bell for the rest of EVE Online, because none of these guys can do a super cap umbrella in their backfield. So what you're starting to see after months of this, but particularly after December 30th, particularly after we trapped these guys in the M2 Hell Camp, all of the little groups who had to deal with these renting blocks, because that's the thing, Fraternity, NC. PL, all of those guys are renter organizations. And the way that they maintain their renter organizations is by blowing up and using their super cap umbrella on all these other little groups like the Free Peoples of the North and whatever. And people are realizing that we have these nerds under our thumb down here. Actually, it's really our boot on their neck here in fucking M2, and that they can go weapons free against block level entities who don't have their caps there, because their caps are trapped in M2 by us. And I think today, in addition to Siberian squads like leaving Legacy, it was very significant that Winter Coalition sent their English speakers home. They did not send all of main Fraternity. I want to make it very clear. FRT, main FRT, the Chinese time zone FRT has not left, but Winter Coalition and the English-speaking Winter Coalition capital ships jumped out of T5CI and went back north because they're starting to get shat on. All of these guys who are in Pass-B are starting to get shat on in their home regions to one degree or another, because their caps are trapped in M2, and it is open fucking season for anybody who wants to take a swing at them while we still have them trapped in M2.
And I have to say, to Mitten's point about, the spillover effect and how it's giving other groups in nullsec a chance to go out and do things. The other thing, it's also having negative impacts elsewhere in the game. And I'll tell you right now, the other non-nullsec big news of this week, and I know this is the nullsec power hour, but I think it's ancillarily related to what's going on, is you saw Snuffed Out attacking Sixth Empire in Bazgarin. They took out their Satoyo. They're fighting on their Keepstar. The Keepstar is probably going to die. Nor at any other time, Sixth Empire would be completely safe, because everybody loves those guys. And Snuffed are like the bad boys, and we all know they're the bad guys, and they love to play the bad guy.
They like to play
role.
the wrestling heel, right? I can't throw stones about that.
And we're never going to give them a hard time for doing that, because, hey, you know what? You got to have bad guys in this game. But any other time, you would have seen groups from all across nullsec going to help Sixth Empire save their Keepstar, except for the fact that we can't leave, and neither can the other guys, because we are stuck really fighting in this M2 fight, and we can't afford to go up there. So I feel bad. I got to give Hai and Tao and the guys credit, because they took the right time. I mean, if you want to go after, Sixth Empire and take out the Space Pope and take out Ivy, Pandora Singularity and those guys, all of my other good friends in the game, do it when none of us can get away to help.
Nullsec's busy, guys. It's open fucking season. I mean, we're busy here in Delve, right? And it's not just Delve, because one of the things that I love, and I want to brag on Inid, and I want to brag on Bastion, I want to brag on our SIGs and squads and all of our dudes out there. I even want to brag on the catch locals who are sticking it to Brave in catch and in Immincy, people like Simple Farmers, people like Dreadbomb and stuff like that. While we have these motherfuckers trapped in M2, they don't have their caps. We're gonna hold these guys, and so I'm not speaking here to Pass-B. So this is just like real talk. And for people that are not involved in the nullsec thing, while we are holding these guys down in M2, there is a whole other front that is far beyond just Pass-B cowards trying to jack themselves off about the fact that they blew up a jump bridge and couldn't. Oh, sorry guys,
we killed your jump bridges.
We didn't pull off $500,000 worth of your Titans because you blew up a jump bridge, which we just replaced because we're not starving and poor like you are. So anyway, Bastion, while basically every single night there's been Fortizars blowing up in test space. There have been jump bridge, like these guys are going, oh, we blew up your jump bridges in Delve while we've got M2. And then meanwhile, Bastion's crew is going through just destroying bridge after bridge after bridge every day. Brave is under so much stress. A lot of these legacy pickup guilds are under so much stress that they are just losing their shit to anything in the battlefield.
I gotta give Bastion credit real quick. Keisha and the guys, I love these guys. They have been doing this whittling away thing in Esoteria, and last night, Keisha sends me a DM on Discord and shows me they had hit a Test Tartara about 12 times, and every time Test would form to defend it, they'd let it go. They'd go back and hit it again. Finally, the Test guys got so tired, they just stopped paying attention. They forgot to fuel the thing. They go back and kill it, abandon it. Drops 100 billion ISK worth of assets that they scooped up and walked away with. This is the type of stuff that Bastion's doing, and they're doing it like every week. I mean, it's just, I gotta laugh because these guys keep doing it over and over again. You are funding our SRP, you are funding our guys, and it's not even like Bastion, it's just their crew that's up there. It's just amazing to me.
Keisha and his guys. Yeah,
I love them. I love them. They are kicking so much ass up there, and it just, you have to laugh, or at least you got to feel bad for the Test guys because they can't win for losing. I mean, it's just every single night.
It sucks to suck. Maybe they should not suck, right? Like they don't have to be in Test. They chose to be who and what they are. They could just leave Test. They don't have to be there. They choose to be there, and this is the circumstances and the consequences of that, right? You know,
exactly. We're getting close to the end of the show, and I know we haven't really talked about the war very much, so we kind of need a war update, don't we?
I think we do. I think we need somebody who is a little bit more, less spin oriented, someone who we can really always know will give us the straight truth, fair and balanced. Absolutely. It can't be me. It can't be you. Maybe you can find somebody. Maybe you can find somebody who can tell us what's up.
Let's see if we can put the Fountain Frank symbol out and see if he'll show up for us.
All right. I hope so.
Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Fountain Frank. I am here today on a very sad day. Rip Pete. We have our morning bands on. We're going to talk about Pete in a little while, but our dear friend Pete, the Betta fish, passed away, and Mittens will tell us about it later. But I had to give my shout out because Pete was our mascot on the show. So
he will be remembered.
He will be remembered. Best Betta fish ever, guys. I gotta tell you, the last couple days have just been off the charts funny, and I can't even dress myself. I was so excited by what happened last night. I mean, the idea that Villy would be the first guy in the boat, not the last guy in the boat. I thought the captain's supposed to go down with the ship, buddy. You're supposed to wait your turn. I mean, it would have been like, Leonardo DiCaprio punching Rose in the face and throwing her overboard and him jumping down first on the raft and saying, "Fuck you, I'm out." That's what happened last night. I got to give him credit. But hey, it is what it is. Now, earlier this week, and I noticed that Mittens and Brisk decided not to mention that earlier in the week, 4 Titans escaped from M2. They were Fraternity Titans. And I heard a lot of complaining between then and Friday as to how those guys got out. So I'm here to tell you how they got out. And I'm here to make an offer to all of my friends in Pasby. That is correct. You see, Mittens has promised one alliance will get a golden ticket if they ask for it. But I know that is something that somebody like Villy or Piggles or Norhouse, one of the big guys, is going to use. I want to provide something to you, the line member. Do you have something stuck in M2? Are you waiting around for Billy to tell you how to get it out? Well, you don't need to wait anymore. Fountain Frank has got your back. That is why, beginning today, I am selling Fountain Frank's golden ticket. All you need, 10 billion ISK, to buy Fountain Frank's golden ticket. You present this ticket at the Hell Camp at M2XFE at 11 o'clock in the morning, right after downtime, and don't be late. You will be given a 25% chance of surviving the camp, which is a shit ton better than the chance you'll have if you follow Villy or Pickle's orders, which is, after all, what got you into this mess. In your wildest dreams, you could not imagine the marvelous surprise that awaits you,
Oh my God.
the buyer of this Fountain Frank golden ticket. Now, you may ask, how can you guarantee there's a 25% chance that I get out? Well, listen, guys, I'll tell you, this is how. You know me. I am the most trusted name in Smug. Mittens and the guys like to say that INN is the most trusted name in Smug. No, that's me. I'm trusted, and the Imperium listens to me. They hang on my every word. So here's how the golden ticket works. You get your golden ticket. You come in to the gate camp. You log in your stuff. You yell in local, hey guys, I got a Fountain Frank golden ticket. You wave it around, and there's a 25% chance I might actually be awake at 5 in the fucking morning, and I'll tell them not to shoot you. And then they won't, and it'll be fine. And then you just jump out. And I'm telling you guys, this is your best chance, okay? I'm not kidding.
It really is.
I mean, it really is your best chance. Me telling them not to shoot you, you got like a 25% chance of living. That's a hell of a lot better than you're going to get with Billy. I mean, look, that poor man last night stood there and got kicked right in his war bonds. And it was live on TV for everybody to see.
Oh my fucking
He's
God.
not going to get you out, but I can. So, all you got to do, 10 billion ISK, to Fountain Frank, the Fountain Frank. It's me. You get your golden ticket. I'll throw these up on Reddit. Don't you counterfeit them, you sons of bitches. I know you. You better pay. And if you get one, you got a 25% chance of getting out. Guaranteed. I promise I will try to maybe wake up once this week and tell them not to shoot you.
I hear that guy knows the Matani. That's
Yeah, right? Doesn't that work? I know the Matani is right here. I sit next to him on the show. Anyway, I'm out. You guys have fun. This has been Fountain Frank. Buy your golden tickets today. You're not going to believe the surprise that awaits you when you try to cash one of those in. Let me just tell you. It's going to be awesome. All right. I am out. Wait, that's not him. I turned Mittens off. I got to turn me off.
Oh my God. Oh
There,
my
that's
fucking
better.
God, I'm dying. That was amazing. That was fucking amazing. Are you kidding me? Wow. Yeah, no, it's true though. I mean, just begging in local is probably your best shot. If your leaders don't, the people are not going to try to do the golden ticket. I don't think at a formal level until maybe, when Piggles gets everybody together tomorrow, and it's totally not going to be a breakout attempt. It's going to be a legacy coalition speech and whatever. It's going to be another breakout attempt. So we are gearing up everything to deal with this. We're going to be sending pings, whatever. We have to be on guard because obviously, whatever, fuck them. But wow.
I just think it's funny that
They're
they're going to do this, and we've got confirmation, 17:30 tomorrow, they're doing their little speech. I just have to laugh, or I guess, no, what was the time? I got to look at the time now.
It was 1930.
Is it 19:30? I got the numbers wrong.
We'll figure it out.
19:30 tomorrow. They've said flat out that they never do these without something for the guys to do. And since there's not going to be a move up, because where the fuck are you moving the stuff that you can't log in? We know it's going to be a breakout attempt. So keep an eye out, guys. There might be breaking news tomorrow. We'll get to see
we're going to form up before
these
these
in the morning.
fucking idiots do this, and then they'll get together and they'll say, we made you form because we gave a coalition speech, and then you formed the Imperium, and it was totally just because of an Asbel. It was totally just because of this. I will give credit to Paspy about one thing, which is the creativity of the excuses has been very consistent over the last 8 months of this war, of them bringing the entire galaxy against the Imperium and failing utterly, and then getting $500,000 worth of their strategic main forces trapped above and below a fucking Keepstar. The excuses have been very creative, and I can't complain too much. I spent the entire war wanting to have fights on Keepstars, and now I guess what we had to do to have the Keepstar fights was to trap them on one of our fucking Keepstars, to force them to fight on a Keepstar, and even then they just want to do the fucking coward drip feed. I can't believe this shit. It's fucking pathetic, man.
All right, we're going to round the show out with Storytime with Uncle Mittens. We want to end on a little bit of a sad note. We want to wait till the very end, but we want to talk because it's a story of fighting spirits. So here we go.
It is.
So you guys all, 2 weeks ago, I think it was 2 weeks ago, it might have been 3 weeks ago,
time's a blur.
We became aware that my boss is a fish enthusiast, and he has been fish keeping. And his main fish that he showed us multiple pictures of was Pete the betta fish. And we are saddened to report, as Frank noted earlier, that Pete the betta fish has passed away. Mittens, go ahead and tell us what happened. Give us the story, and I'm going to throw up our little picture of Pete here.
Pete. Well, he went to fucking Fish Valhalla, that's for sure. Basically, what happened here was we had a tank with some bloodfin tetras in it, and everyone was getting along, and you have to be very careful about how you handle fish aggression, because fish are fucking savage and really metal, as it turns out. I didn't know this. It reminds me of Charlotte's Web. Like, when you don't know that fish are so fragile and beta fish have so much personality. When I was first getting into this, I had no idea that this kind of thing could happen. It has been a learning experience. I am a novice fish enthusiast. If you have kept fish before and you've seen fish aggression in action, it's some Hobbesian shit. So basically what happened was bloodfin tetras are schooling fish. So we're like, okay, we've got this big ass 10-gallon tank. We had 3 bloodfins in there and everything was fine. We added 4 more so they could do schooling stuff. And perhaps because they had a school then, they decided that maybe they could fuck with Pete. He had an injury on his left sort of flipper fin, whatever. And it became apparent that what had happened is that the bloodfins tried to nip at Pete's fin. And he ripped their faces off. He literally bit their faces off. We had to sort of reconstruct like crime scene investigation afterwards, like fish CSI, to try to determine, with my fellow fish keeping fish enthusiasts in the Imperium. I got a lot of help from the Adge and Nominated and a bunch of the guys telling me, what had gone on and how we'd fucked up and whatever. But basically what happened was the bloodfins fucked with Pete, and Pete took off. This is actually kind of creepy and traumatic. Like, this is what was going down when I missed last week, because like there was some fucking Hellraiser shit happened in this tank. They bit at his left fin, and while they would bite his fin, as best as I can tell, because I don't know how the hell he got their faces, he bit off everything in front of their eyes. They had no jaws. There was these little bloodfin tetras swimming around with no faces. That was really fucking creepy. Pete bit 3 of their faces off. So that was down 3. And then there was a 4th one that died from stress and terror, because this happened and the beta fish was sort of circling overhead in the tank like a fucking attack helicopter, like a predator drone. Pete was just circling. I thought it was a water issue. I was, when you're a novice fish enthusiast and your fish are acting weird, I was like, oh shit, did I fuck up the nitrogen cycle? Was there an ammonia issue in the tank? And I didn't realize this was like an aggression issue, and that the reason why the bloodfins were all fucked up was, so that sucked. And Pete eventually died of I think just exhaustion, because he was injured in the battle, because he took down 4 bloodfins, and he ripped their faces off, and his face was not ripped off, so he went to Fish Valhalla with 4 kills to his name. And it kind of fucked me up. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't expect to care deeply about the fish. He stole my heart back when I didn't know anything about fish enthusiasm, and I didn't realize that it is a savage world in Fishland. So rip Pete. Unlike a lot of beta fish, people actually remember Pete. He will be remembered, and that is, and he went to fucking Valhalla with 4 kills to his name. So good on him. So that is regrettably the fish story. It sucks to introduce, hey guys, here's my new pet. This is awesome, and then a couple weeks later he's dead. So that sucks. There we go.
All right, F's for Pete in the chat. Absolutely the most famous beta fish I've ever heard of. And I'll tell you right now, you go down with 4 kill marks on you, that's legit.
He's in Fish Valhalla now.
He's in
Fish Valhalla now.
All right, everybody. Thank you all. This has been the Meta Show for January the 23rd, 2021. I'm Bruce Rabola. I'm joined with the Matani. We had a lot of fun today. We had a lot of smug about M2. Obviously, we're seeing Legacy start falling apart. We said goodbye to our dear friend Pete. I can't imagine a more fun show than one like this, right? I think this has been pretty good.
I had fun.
I hope you guys had a good time. We're going to see you all next time on the Meta Show. Keep an eye out for pings. Make sure you are joining the M2 Gate Camp. We got and Hell Camp, I should say. Keep a hold of that pigeon. Pine cones delenda est, and you stay classy, New Eden.